Hi, and welcome to our math lesson for today. Today we are learning topic 4, lesson 5, use addition to subtract. Our learning intention for today is I can use addition facts to find subtraction facts. So let's get started. Alright, so our solve and share begins on page 177 in our Envisions Volume 1 workbook. So if you need to pause the video to get your math workbook open to page 177, now is a good time to pause the video so that you can get to our page. If you are on that page, then let's get started. Our solve and share says 12 minus 9 equals question mark. How can you use a related fact to help you find the difference? Write the related addition and subtraction facts. Use counters to help you. We can see on our solve and share that it gave us a part-whole chart to help us solve. Now when it says to use a related fact, I want you to think about what we learned yesterday. We learned about fact families. Now in a fact family, it has the same 3 numbers and you were able to make 2 addition and 2 subtraction equations using that fact family. So a related fact is a lot like that. So I'll show you how. So if you don't have counters at home, that is perfectly okay. I can show you how to just make some little marks on your paper, but if you have counters, you're more than welcome to use them. So our equation says 12 minus 9 equals question mark. Well, for our whole chart, we want to write our whole in the small box at the top. Now, if you remember from yesterday, we talked about when we are subtracting, we put our whole at the front of our equation. So our whole, is it 12 or 9? Our whole would be 12 because we are subtracting and taking away from the whole. So on your solve and share, we are going to write 12 in our whole of our whole chart. Now if 12 is our whole and we know that there are 2 parts, we have the number 9. So that means that the number 9 is going to be one of our parts. So if you're using counters, you can put 9 counters in this box here, but if you do not, I can show you how to do it. With your pencil, you can either make X's or circles or dots. So I'm going to use X's. So I'm going to put 9 in this part. So I'm going to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Awesome. So we've got our whole from our equation and we have 1 part. So if we have 9, we need to count on until we get to 12. So let's count on. We have 9, and then in this side, we'll say 10, 11, 12. So to get from 9 to 12, how many more did we have to add? To get from 9 to 12, we had to add these 3 counters, or these 3 X's. So on our equation, on our addition equation at the bottom, we knew one of our parts was 9, and we knew our whole was 12. Well, our missing part, we said we had to count on 3 more. So our equation would be 9 plus 3 equals 12. Now, we were wanting to find 12 minus 9. That was our initial question that our solve and share was asking us. So 9 plus 3 equals 12 is a related fact to 12 minus 9 equals blank. Notice how both of these equations have a sum or whole of 12, a part of 9. So what would this missing part be? Well, the other missing part was 3. So if 9 plus 3 equals 12, then that means 12 minus 9 is equal to 3. Pretty cool. Now we are going to watch our animated video to help us guide through the top of our workbook page 178. So we are on the next workbook page now. Let's see what our video has for us today.
"13 minus 8 equals..." Let's think about it.
Use addition to help you subtract.
To solve 13 minus 8, do you need to find a part or a whole? You need to find a part. What number is the whole?
Select your answer.
So we're subtracting in this equation. So is 13 the whole or is 8 the whole? What do you think? When we're subtracting, our whole goes at the beginning of our equation, and we are taking away from the whole. So 13 is our whole.
13 is the whole. What is the part you know?
Select your answer.
So if 13 is our whole, that means the part that we know would be 8. And then we still do not know this part here, but we know one of our parts is 8.
8 is the part you know. How do you know which number is a part and which number is the whole? 13 is greater than 8, so 13 must be the whole and 8 must be one of the parts. You will use addition to help you subtract. Here is the addition problem. 8 plus equals 13. To solve this problem, you can ask this question. 13 minus 8 equals... Let's think about it. Remember, a sum is the answer you get when adding. Which number is the sum in this addition problem? 13 is the sum. The part missing in the addition problem is the same missing part in the subtraction problem. Let's find the missing number using the part-part-whole mat. Model the addition fact. What equations does this model show?
Let's try it. It tells us to drag all of the yellow counters to the right half of the part-part-whole mat to show related facts and find the missing parts of the equation. So right now we know our whole is 13, our part is 8, and we have two equations here. So watch what happens to these equations when I move a yellow counter to this part. We added one yellow counter. 2. Notice how our sum changes. 3, 4, and 5. When I added these 5 counters, we now see that our missing part was 5. 8 plus 5 equals 13, and 13 minus 8 equals 5.
The missing part is 5. 8 plus 5 equals 13. So 13 minus 8 equals 5. You have learned how to use addition to help you subtract.
Now let's complete our guided practice together on page 178 of our workbook. Our directions tell us to complete each model, then complete the equations. So the first one has been completed for us. Let's see how they were able to solve this problem. Our equation says 14 minus 8 equals question mark. We then see our part-whole chart. It tells us that our whole is 14 and our part that we know is 8. So we have 8 counters on this side. They then use the part-whole chart to count on 6 more counters till they got their whole of 14. They wrote 8 plus 6 is equal to 14 because in our chart they added together these 8 counters plus these 6 counters to get 14. So that means that 14 minus 8 would also be equal to 6. Your missing part for your addition and subtraction problems will be the same. Keep that in mind when you are working on your equations today. Now let's look at number 2. On number 2, it says 17 minus 9 equals question mark. We again have our part-whole chart. It tells us that our whole is 17 and the part that we know is the number 9. So we have 9 counters filled in. Let's count on until we reach 17. We have 9, so we can count on 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. So we knew our part of 9 and then we counted on until we got to 17. So we counted on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our missing part was the number 8. We said 9 plus 8 is equal to 17. So that means that 17 minus 9 would equal what number? Remember that your missing parts will be the same number. So if 9 plus 8 is equal to 17, that means 17 minus 9 will equal 8. Now I would like for you to complete numbers 3, 4, and 5 on your independent practice on page 179. The instructions are the same as our guided practice. Complete each model, then complete the equations. On each of these questions, it gives you your whole and also your part. So just like we did in our video and in our guided practice, you can count on in this part of your chart until you reach the whole. Remember that your missing part for your addition and subtraction problems should be the same number. If you need any help on this part, it would be good to rewind the video to watch our guided practice again. Now is a good time to pause the video so that you can work on the numbers 3, 4, and 5. When you press play on the video, we will begin talking about number 6. For number 6 and number 7, we are completing a different skill than we have done before. In number 6 and 7, we are going to be looking at the pattern that these problems use. Notice how on numbers 6 and 7, they are using shapes instead of numbers. So let's look at number 6 together. It says, if circle plus square equals triangle, then triangle minus square equals what? Think of these shapes as a fact family. We see our first equation has a circle, a square, and a triangle. Our second equation has a triangle and a square. So what shape is missing from the second equation that was in our first equation? There was a circle, a square, and a triangle, and now there is a triangle and a square. So what shape is missing? The shape that is missing on number 6 is the red circle. So we would draw a circle in the blank on number 6. Now I want you to try number 7. If the blue rectangle minus the orange rectangle equals the orange rectangle, then blank plus orange rectangle equals blue rectangle. Notice how the blue rectangle is horizontal and the orange rectangles are vertical. So in our first equation, we had one blue rectangle and two orange rectangles. In our second equation, we have one of each, one orange and one blue. So what type of rectangle is missing from problem number 7? Is it the blue rectangle or the orange rectangle? You don't have to worry about the color, but if you think it's the orange rectangle, then you will draw a rectangle standing up like this. And if you think it is the blue rectangle that is the answer, then you will draw a rectangle long ways. So which rectangle is missing from that equation? I want you to do number 7. And now let's complete our last workbook page for our lesson today. Page 180. Our directions tell us to solve each problem. Write a related addition fact and subtraction fact to help you. So number 8 says, there are 17 robot parts. Fred uses some of the parts. Now there are 8 left. How many parts did Fred use? So it wants us to write an addition and a subtraction problem. So if there are 17 robot parts, Fred uses some, so we don't know how many, it just says some. But now there are 8 left. Let's write our addition equation first. So how many robot parts are there total? We have two numbers, 17 and 8. So how many robot parts are there total? Says there are 17 robot parts. So there are 17 robots parts total. So I'm going to write 17 at the end of our addition problem because we know our answer will be equals 17 because that is our whole. Now, what is our part? We have some and then 8. So what part do we know? We know the part of 8. So now you will need to find 8 plus what number equals 17? You can make a part whole chart. So you might have to make it kind of small, but you could say you have a whole of 17. Draw a small rectangle. Put a line down the middle and put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dots on this side, and then count on from 8 until you get to 17. You could do that to find your missing part, or if you would like to use another strategy, you can also do that. So you need to find 8 plus blank equals 17, and you can do that using a part whole chart or another method. So for our subtraction equation, if we know 17 is our whole, that means 17 will go at the beginning since we are subtracting our whole. And we know that there are 8 parts left after some parts are taken away. So that means your missing number for your subtraction problem and your addition problem will tell you how many parts Fred used. So we set up number 8 together. Now I want you to finish it. And please pause the video as needed. Number 9 says, Maria invites 10 friends to her party. 3 cannot come. How many friends will be at Maria's party? So it tells us she invites 10 friends and 3 cannot come to the party. 3 cannot come to the party. So what is our whole? 10 or 3? And what is our part? 10 or 3? So just like we did in number 8, you are going to write an addition and a subtraction problem using your whole and part that you know. So our whole is 10. So I know she invites 10 friends total. So I will fill in our whole. So I know when we are adding, my whole will go at the end. And we are subtracting, my whole will go at the beginning because we are taking away from the whole. Now I want you to fill in the part that we know and find the missing part. So how many friends do we know that cannot come? 3. So then you will write 3 in the blank and find the missing part. Now your missing part will be the same number in your subtraction problem, in your addition problem, and also your number of friends that will be at your party. So we have our whole so far. Use your part to fill in the equation and then find the missing part. Number 10 says write a subtraction equation with 11. Then write a related addition fact you could use to solve it. So for number 10, I will write our subtraction fact using the number 11, and then I want you to write the addition fact that would go with it. So I want to write a subtraction equation using the number 11. I think I will use 11 minus 1 equals 10. So now I want you to write the addition fact that would help you solve this equation. So if 11 minus 1 is equal to 10, using the same fact family, so these same three numbers, what equation could you write to help me solve for 11? And on number 11, it tells you to write an addition fact that will help you solve 13 minus 7 equals blank. So for this equation, write what your whole is, write the part you know, and find the missing part. So we have 13 and 7. So which number is your whole? And write that in the equation. What number is your part? Write that in the equation. Then find your missing part. Once you have completed to problem number 11, you are all done with your math assignment for today. If you have any questions while going through your assignment today, please let me know and I'll be able to help you. Have a great rest of your day.